on corporate governance. In this video, we're going to look at why corporate governance exists and good examples, good practice of corporate governance. So the first thing, why it exists? Well, the answer is the divorce of ownership and control. And that's most frequently seen in public limited companies. Now, just a reminder of that. So that's when the shareholders, well, they have the ownership of the company and they will employ the managers, the board of directors to control day-to-day, operationally control that public limited company. Now the shareholders, what do they care about? Well, they care about the share price, they care about the dividends and the long-term future of the business. It's their business, they own it. Now they want to make sure the board of directors, the current managers, the current board of directors are aligned with those shareholders' interests. So they expect good corporate governance to be put in place. Let's look at some examples of good corporate governance. Good practice. So board of directors, they want to ensure that the strategy is there, the business has a strategy for the long term, they have corporate objectives that support that, and perhaps even functional objectives that support that corporate objectives. So having that overarching structure. Now also there's certain legal corporate governance, legal governance that must be met. For example, the chairman and the CEO cannot be the same person, one different person in each of those roles. Additionally, they want to expect that auditors have been put in place to check that the accounts that have been relayed to the various stakeholders, such as the shareholders, are accurate and have been checked. And you want to make sure that there's transparency in that financial information so other stakeholders can see it, just in case those auditors were to fail to do those effective corporate checks. Additionally, you want to have respect for all stakeholders, For example, CSR, corporate social responsibility, increasingly important. So you'll want to make sure that social, ethical and environmental impacts are being seen and there is a strategy in place to manage those because they are particularly important for the long-term aspects of the company. And so therefore shareholders will want to check that something's being done there. Also, you'll want to look after your employees and your customers because they're clearly important to the long-term viability of the business. So respect all stakeholders is part of good corporate governance. Now you also want to ensure that risk is being managed and that the board of directors who control the business will have contingency planning in place in case competitors are stolen or there's some sort of economic shock. And finally, all of this, well, you need to make sure that it's being implemented and evaluated over time to make sure that it's always being implemented in the best possible way. And that is good corporate governance. See you at the next session.